Listen carefully. What if I told you that the secret to a peaceful mind is not avoiding problems, but mastering how you respond to them? Imagine for a moment what it would be like to walk through your daily life carrying a calm, unshakable presence, no matter what chaos or challenges come your way. Think about how different your days would feel if you could face difficult people, unexpected setbacks, or even personal disappointments without that sinking feeling of frustration or anger pulling you down. What if you could act as if nothing ever bothers you, not because you don't care, but because you have learned to keep your peace at the center of your being? It might sound impossible or even unrealistic at first. After all, we are human, and humans have emotions that arise naturally in response to life's ups and downs. But consider this. What if the power isn't in the events themselves, but in the way you choose to engage with them? Think about a time when something happened that would normally upset you. Now, reflect on moments when you surprised yourself by staying calm and composed despite the same type of situation. That feeling of steadiness wasn't a coincidence. It was a glimpse of what you are capable of cultivating more consistently. The truth is, no one can control every circumstance or prevent difficulties from arising. Life is unpredictable, and challenges will always come knocking. What sets apart those who maintain their peace and those who become overwhelmed is not the absence of problems, but the mastery of emotional responses. This mastery comes from a deeper understanding of yourself and your mind. It is about training yourself to pause, breathe, and respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Acting as if nothing bothers you is not about suppressing your feelings or pretending everything is fine when it isn't. It's about creating a mental habit where your reactions are measured, calm, and intentional. Imagine your mind as a lake. When the wind blows, the surface ripples, but the deep water remains calm and undisturbed. Your thoughts and emotions are like those ripples, natural and sometimes uncomfortable, but you can learn to keep the deeper part of yourself steady and peaceful. When you behave as if nothing bothers you, you are essentially training yourself to stay connected to that calm core, even when the surface appears rough. This ability is not reserved for a special few. It is a skill that can be developed by anyone willing to practice. The first step is curiosity about your own mind and reactions. Notice how often your thoughts jump to worst case scenarios or how quickly irritation can rise when things don't go your way. Awareness is the key to change. By simply paying attention to these patterns, you start to create a space between the event and your reaction, and that space is where choice lies. Next, you learn to use that space wisely. Instead of letting frustration take over, you begin to consciously decide how you want to respond. Sometimes, this means choosing silence over argument, patience over impatience, or acceptance over resistance. It's like building a muscle. Each time you practice this calm response, you strengthen your capacity to handle bigger challenges without losing your balance. What's more, behaving as if nothing bothers you doesn't mean you ignore problems or deny your emotions. On the contrary, it requires acknowledging them fully, but not letting them control your actions or steal your peace. It's about emotional intelligence, recognizing your feelings, understanding their source, and then deciding not to let them dictate your behavior. This emotional intelligence leads to greater resilience because it allows you to recover quickly from setbacks and keep moving forward. Now, picture the impact this mindset could have beyond your inner world. When you remain calm and steady, others around you sense it too. People are naturally drawn to those who exude confidence and composure. Your relationships improve because you are no longer reactive or defensive. Your communication becomes clearer, and conflicts are resolved more smoothly. In fact, your calmness can become a source of strength and inspiration for those around you. But why does this matter so much? Because in today's fast-paced, often stressful world, the ability to maintain inner peace is one of the most valuable assets you can have. Stress and worry can wear down your health, cloud your judgment, and drain your energy. By learning to behave as if nothing ever bothers you, you build a protective shield around your well-being. You reclaim control over your life, your happiness, and your future. So, listen carefully to this invitation. Start observing your thoughts and emotions without judgment. Start practicing pauses before reacting. Begin training yourself to respond with calmness and confidence. And most importantly, believe that it's possible for you to carry a peaceful mind through any storm. Because the secret to a truly peaceful life is not the absence of problems, but the mastery of your response to them. And that mastery begins the moment you decide to behave as if nothing ever bothers you. Why is it that behaving as if nothing ever bothers you is often misunderstood? Many people think it means ignoring problems, suppressing emotions, or pretending everything is perfect when it's not. But the reality is far from that. True emotional control is about understanding and mastering your reactions, not denying your feelings. When you learn to behave this way, you're practicing a deep and powerful skill, emotional mastery, that can transform your mental well-being and how you navigate life's challenges. At its core, emotional control means being aware of your emotions without letting them control you. Everyone experiences feelings like anger, frustration, sadness, or anxiety. These are natural and important signals from your mind and body. The difference comes in what you do with those feelings once they arise. Do you allow them to dictate your actions, cloud your judgment, and disturb your peace? Or do you observe them, acknowledge their presence, and choose how to respond in a way that preserves your calm and clarity? Acting as if nothing bothers you is not about bottling up emotions or pretending they don't exist. Instead, it's about creating a habit of response that maintains your composure. When you respond with emotional control, you create a mental environment where your feelings are valid, but they don't overwhelm your ability to think clearly or act effectively. This skill is especially important because unchecked emotional reactions often lead to regretful decisions, strained relationships, and inner turmoil. Think about moments when you've been angry or upset. How did that emotion affect your behavior? Did it push you to say or do things you later wished you hadn't? Did it create tension with others or leave you feeling exhausted afterward? Emotional control teaches you to recognize those moments before they spiral out of control. It helps you to pause, breathe, and assess the situation rather than reacting impulsively. This pause is powerful because it turns instinctive reactions into conscious choices. Learning emotional control is like learning any other skill. It requires awareness, practice, and patience. The first step is becoming aware of your emotional triggers, those situations, words, or behaviors that tend to upset you. By identifying these triggers, you can prepare yourself to respond more calmly when they arise. You don't have to wait until you're in the middle of a heated moment to practice control. You can start by reflecting on past experiences and imagining how you could handle them differently. One practical technique is mindfulness, paying close attention to your emotions as they come and go without judgment. Mindfulness helps you observe your feelings as passing waves rather than permanent states. For example, instead of thinking, "I am angry," you might think, "I notice that anger is present right now." This subtle shift creates distance between you and the emotion, making it easier to manage. Another important aspect of emotional control is reframing your thoughts. Often, what bothers us is not just what happens, but the meaning we assign to it. If something goes wrong, your mind might jump to conclusions like "this always happens to me," or "I can't handle this." These thoughts fuel emotional reactions. Reframing encourages you to challenge those negative assumptions and replace them with more balanced, helpful perspectives. such as "this is tough, but I've handled difficult things before," or "I can take one step at a time." Choosing your battles is another critical piece of the puzzle. Not every irritation or problem deserves your energy. Sometimes letting go of minor annoyances preserves your peace far better than engaging in conflict. This doesn't mean you ignore important issues or tolerate injustice, but rather that you learn to recognize what truly matters and what you can afford to release without losing yourself in negativity. The benefits of mastering this behavior extend beyond just feeling calm in the moment. When you behave as if nothing bothers you, you build resilience, the capacity to bounce back from adversity. You become less reactive and more proactive, able to focus on solutions rather than being trapped by problems. Your mental clarity improves, enabling better decision making. Relationships grow stronger because you're less likely to lash out or misunderstand others. Moreover, emotional control is linked to overall health. Chronic stress and uncontrolled emotions can lead to physical problems like high blood pressure, weakened immune response, and sleep disturbances. By learning to manage your emotions, you protect your body as well as your mind, promoting a healthier and more balanced life. It's important to remember that this is not about perfection. No one behaves perfectly all the time, and emotional mastery is a lifelong journey. There will be moments when you lose your calm or get upset, and that's okay. What matters is your willingness to keep practicing, learning from those moments, and returning to your commitment to behave as if nothing ever bothers you. Ultimately, emotional control empowers you to take back ownership of your life. It frees you from being at the mercy of external circumstances and internal turmoil. When you master how you respond, you become the author of your own experience rather than a victim of it. This mindset opens the door to greater peace, happiness, and freedom. So, next time you face a challenging situation, remind yourself that you have a choice. You can allow frustration or anger to take control, or you can choose to behave as if nothing bothers you. This choice is your superpower, a way to remain steady, clear-headed, and strong no matter what life throws your way. By embracing emotional control, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. When it comes to learning how to behave as if nothing ever bothers you, understanding the practical steps to cultivate this mindset is essential. It's one thing to appreciate the value of emotional control and another to put it into practice consistently. The good news is that this ability is not reserved for a select few. It's a skill that can be developed with intentional effort. By adopting certain habits and techniques, you can train your mind to stay calm, composed, and resilient even in difficult situations. One of the most effective starting points is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of paying close attention to the present moment, observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. When you become mindful, you create a space between what's happening and your reaction to it. For example, when something frustrating occurs, instead of immediately reacting with irritation or anger, mindfulness allows you to notice those feelings rising inside you and recognize them as temporary states. This awareness is powerful because it prevents emotions from overwhelming you. You learn to see them as passing clouds rather than permanent storms. Practicing mindfulness daily, even for a few minutes, can gradually reshape how you respond to stress. Alongside mindfulness, another critical technique is reframing your thoughts. Our minds naturally create stories about events that shape how we feel. If something goes wrong, the narrative we tell ourselves might be negative and exaggerated. "I always mess up," or "this is unbearable." These thoughts fuel emotional reactions and keep us stuck in a cycle of distress. Reframing means consciously shifting these narratives into more balanced and constructive perspectives. Instead of "this is unbearable," you might say to yourself, "This is challenging, but I can handle it," or "I can learn from this experience." This simple change in internal dialogue can deflate the intensity of negative emotions and help you stay centered. Another important strategy is choosing your battles wisely. Not every problem or irritation deserves your energy. Sometimes the best response is to let go and focus on what truly matters. This doesn't mean ignoring serious issues or being passive, but rather developing discernment about where to invest your emotional resources. For instance, a minor inconvenience or a casual insult might sting momentarily, but holding on to it wastes your energy and disturbs your peace. When you behave as if nothing bothers you, you're effectively deciding not to give power to things that don't serve your well-being. This mindset can be liberating and helps conserve your strength for more meaningful challenges. Building emotional resilience also involves developing healthy habits that support your mental and physical well-being. Regular exercise, sufficient sleep, and a balanced diet all play a role in stabilizing your mood and increasing your ability to cope with stress. When your body is well cared for, your mind follows suit. Additionally, practices like deep breathing, meditation, or yoga can calm the nervous system and make it easier to maintain composure during difficult moments. It's also beneficial to cultivate a supportive environment. Surrounding yourself with positive, understanding people can reinforce your efforts to stay calm and resilient. Sharing your goals and struggles with trusted friends or mentors can provide encouragement and perspective when you face setbacks. Remember, learning to behave as if nothing bothers you is not about isolating yourself or ignoring your feelings, but rather about creating a balanced life where your emotional responses are well managed. Another practical tip is to develop a habit of pausing before reacting. When something upsetting happens, train yourself to take a moment, just a few seconds, to breathe and think before responding. This pause interrupts the automatic reaction cycle and gives you time to choose a more thoughtful and controlled response. It may feel awkward at first, especially if you're used to reacting quickly, but with practice, it becomes a natural and powerful tool. In addition, journaling can be a helpful practice. Writing down your thoughts and feelings allows you to process emotions more clearly and identify patterns in what triggers you. Over time, this can increase your self-awareness and help you anticipate challenging situations with greater preparedness. When you see your triggers on paper, it becomes easier to work on reframing your thoughts and practicing calm responses. Developing the mindset to behave as if nothing bothers you is a gradual process that requires patience and consistency. It won't happen overnight, and you will have moments when old habits resurface. That's normal and part of the learning journey. The key is to keep returning to your practices without judgment or discouragement. Each time you choose calm over reactivity, you strengthen your emotional muscles. Ultimately, these practical steps, mindfulness, reframing, choosing battles, healthy habits, supportive relationships, pausing before reacting, and journaling, work together to build a foundation of resilience and emotional control. They empower you to face life's challenges with grace and confidence, preserving your peace in the midst of chaos. When you cultivate this behavior, you don't just survive difficulties, you grow through them and emerge stronger. By committing to these practices, you take an active role in shaping your mental and emotional life. You learn to behave as if nothing ever bothers you, not because you are indifferent or unaware, but because you have mastered the art of responding with calm, clarity, and strength. This mastery opens the door to a more peaceful, fulfilled, and empowered way of living. Adopting the mindset to behave as if nothing ever bothers you brings profound long-term benefits that ripple through every part of your life. When you develop this steady calmness, your relationships naturally improve because you respond with patience and understanding rather than frustration or anger. People feel safe and valued around you, which deepens trust and connection. This emotional stability also enhances your decision making. Without being clouded by intense negative feelings, you can think clearly and make choices that serve your best interests. Moreover, maintaining this calm protects your mental and physical health. Chronic stress and emotional turmoil can wear down your body over time, but cultivating inner peace supports a stronger immune system, better sleep, and greater overall well-being. Beyond health, behaving as if nothing bothers you builds resilience, your ability to bounce back quickly from setbacks. Life's challenges become less overwhelming, and you gain confidence in handling whatever comes your way. Ultimately, this mindset transforms how you experience life. You shift from reacting to circumstances with anxiety or agitation to moving through the world with grace and strength. It creates a foundation for lasting happiness, success, and fulfillment, making you not only more resilient but truly empowered.